I think when I was a little younger, maybe 6 or so, when we would go out with our dad, the looks, everything else,
Okay.
his presence.
People wanting autographs or
Right.
pictures.
And
okay.
my siblings and I would be a little embarrassed.
This is born to the game where legacy speaks in every beat and rhyme. The passion it peaks. We're writing our own verse in this timeless song. With swagger in our stride, this is where we belong. Born to the game, carrying the flame. Echoes of the past, but it's a new name. Through highs and lows, we rise and proclaim. This is born to the game where legacy speaks for itself.
Welcome to Born to the Game, produced by Arca Media Group in collaboration with Inflection Network and distributed through iHeartMedia. This is a space where the children and families of iconic athletes, entertainers, and cultural figures share the truth behind legacy, not just what their families did, but who they were and how that legacy continues. Today's guest is Alexis Polynice, daughter of former NBA player Olden Polynice.
But Alexis' story isn't about following her father's footstep. It's about understanding how those footsteps shaped her. From navigating a relationship that felt distant at times to building something meaningful on her own, Alexis has carved out a path rooted in care, connection, and self-awareness. Today, she opens up about love, identity, and what it really takes to build a legacy of her own.
Please welcome to the show, Alexis.
Alexis Polynice!
Thank you guys so much for
Hey,
having
girl.
me. Hi.
Hey, that was good. We did good, too.
Wait,
Hey.
is it good or no? Or do I need to redo it?
No, I thought it was great.
Okay, great. Okay, cool.
Evan gave us a thumbs up. Did you like your intro, Alexis?
What does the audience say, team?
We're good? Okay, we're good. Okay. Hey, sis.
Hi.
We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I know Tamara said that she's not here physically, but she is here
She's there.
visually and in the spirit.
Yes. It's very weird being here.
I
and not there.
know.
Okay.
It's our first time doing it this way, but I already know it's going to be fantastic. Tamara, do you want to explain to the people why you are not here physically? Or do you want me to just go ahead and say it? But you can say it.
Somebody just decided to get married.
Show them your ring, girl. Go ahead and show them your ring.
God.
Flash them that ring, sis.
Yes.
Wow.
He did a beautiful job. Shout out
He did.
to my husband, soon to be next week.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you so much. But Mariah is a bridesmaid, and my darling nephew Nazir will also be on the wedding. So I just couldn't, wedding planning is crazy. So
I love it.
work.
Well,
But
yes. We're excited. We're excited. But we're even more excited to have you here and
Absolutely.
to just unpack your story. You're so vulnerable. And I think your story will resonate with so many people. And I think the audience would just love to get to know who Alexis is and all of the incredible things that you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's dive into. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
First question I have for you. What was your experience like having a dad as an NBA player? And when did you realize your dad was different from other dads? Like, what was that moment like? Oh, shoot, dad's an
Yeah.
NBA player.
I remember very early on getting a sense of things because I remember going to the games when I was maybe 3 years old, and I had no clue that my father was on the court. I had no clue why we were there. Typically, I didn't like going, and it wasn't until I was maybe in 5th grade or something, and I was doing a school project, and I remember I had not really spoken to my dad in a little bit. And I was like, man, what's his birthday? And I had to Google it, I was like, oh, I can just search it up. And so I was like, I know that my friend's dad, who's a doctor, can't search himself up or whatever. So it was like, there's something to be said about that. So yeah, at some point I was like, oh, there's a backstory. And
Okay.
yeah, I think that's when it kind of clicked.
So how did you know that you were able to look up your dad in the 5th grade? Like, what made you think you were able to do that?
I knew that my dad, I think when I was a little younger, maybe 6 or so, when we would go out with our dad, the looks, everything else,
Okay.
his presence.
People wanting autographs or
Right.
pictures.
And
Okay.
my siblings and I would be a little embarrassed.
Oh, no.
Because we were like, why are these people coming up to us? But I think that's when I started noticing that it was a little bit different. Sometimes I would talk to my friends and, you know, they ask me, like, what does your dad do? And I would typically start by saying, I'm like, my dad plays basketball. And people are like, your dad plays basketball, like, all day? And I'm like, no, like in the NBA. And it's kind of, I'm like, I was the only kid. I grew up in the suburbs. So
Okay.
it's just, you know, I kind of had this experience where I was one of a kind in many ways. So I don't know, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
So how many games do you remember going to? Like, do you remember like physically seeing him running up and down the court and scoring baskets? Do you remember post games?
I remember, I mean, so by the time I was born in 1998.
Okay.
My dad would have been playing for the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, a shout out to the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Shout out to the king.
Yes.
I was born in Sac, and he had just been traded to the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
So we moved to Utah, and I would have been no more than 4 years old by the time we left Utah, and he
Okay.
was like on his way to retirement.
So you can't really remember.
I
Okay.
remember sometimes going to the games. I do remember going and like being with all of the moms and all
Yeah.
the other,
Okay.
you know, baller
Very
babies
cool.
and
Baller
yeah,
babies.
it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I remember that.
Okay, so what did your day-to-day look like as a kid?
Day to day, I'm one of 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
I am the second eldest, and it's boy, girl, 2 years apart. So we're all super close. We were raised by our mom mostly, and my parents separated when I was 6.
Okay.
So everything before then was like what people assume life is like when your dad plays professional basketball, right?
No, so what because you mentioned that people have this preconceived notion of what life was like for you. So what idea do you think people have?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's always changed throughout life, but yeah, I think people just had an assumption that I had things, and typically it was not the case because my life was so different from my peers who also had dads in the NBA.
Okay.
So most of my friends, like their parents were still together and they had like, you know, 2-parent household. They still had finances, and people made the assumption that that was my life.
Okay.
And it wasn't. It was the opposite, I
Okay.
think. And there was money and stuff, right? And my mom had money coming in every month, but
Okay.
because there were 4 of us, there were a lot of things that we missed out on.
Okay.
Yeah. But going back to like assumptions, I think people just off bat will look at you and
assume that your life looks a way that's for
Yeah.
you. That wasn't the case.
yeah.
So your parents separated when you were around 4? You said 4 to 6?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you guys are in a separate home than your dad. So
Right.
would you say that your relationship with him was distant at that time, or was he still very present in your life?
Throughout my entire childhood, I always knew as a kid, he traveled a lot. I traveled a lot because I
Okay.
did childhood modeling and
Oh, nice.
pageants
I can
and
see that.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually was moving around a lot. And so I was kind of off doing my thing at 4 years old, but I always knew dad would leave and then he'd like come back.
Yeah.
And like that was it.
Yeah.
To this day, that's still the case.
Okay.
Like it still reflects like in my relationships. But yeah, you know, he wasn't really around, whether he was playing basketball and he was off or he didn't want to be there,
Yeah.
you know?
And I'll say this, my parents have been together since they were 15, 16,
High school, yeah.
high school, and my dad is still gone all the time.
Yeah.
So I just think it's something about being a part of sports, entertainment, and your life is always on the go, go, go.
Yeah.
They don't know how to slow down. Even if they are married with kids at home,
That's true.
they still find their way outside of the home. So that's just, that's one of the unfortunate parts about growing up in this business.
So
Describe
I
your
have a
relationship.
question.
Oh, sorry, T. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, just about how she felt and being at such a young age and realizing that he's gone, his absence, whether for work or absence. In that time, how did that make you feel?
I think I was so young that I didn't notice. I mean, he would leave and funny, like he would be gone at a game and I would be like in Montana for a beauty pageant. My mom would be like, the hotel phone's ringing. Like, I wonder who's on the phone. And it was my dad.
Yeah.
So I just knew that like every time he called when I was a kid, he'd go, hi, Alexis. Like, and when he was home, we were super close. Like
Okay.
I had a speech impediment growing up and I realized that I was trying to like mock my dad's New York accent since
Oh my
childhood.
gosh. Is he from New York?
He's from Haiti. He's from Port-au-Prince.
Oh,
But
okay.
he
Okay.
grew up in Haiti, or he grew up in New York.
Have you been to Haiti before?
I haven't.
Okay.
My dad doesn't want me to go.
Okay. Understandable. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
But yeah, he's from Haiti, and you know, I remember just being really close to him. I loved my mom. I also grew up with a lot of nannies.
Okay.
So if my dad wasn't around or my mom wasn't around, it was just my nannies. So I didn't really have a problem with that, and I think that's why I wasn't concerned about him being gone.
Okay.
You know, I was so young, and this was like his routine that it was, I didn't know where he was going, but I knew he'd come back.
You mentioned earlier that him being gone, it felt like you were missing something. What was at least one thing that you felt was missing with him being absent?
I think it was more of a want for my siblings. My brothers had a really difficult time not having our dad around.
Okay.
I didn't ever really mind. Like it never affected me. Like, and people will say like, oh, like someone has daddy issues or whatever. Like my siblings will say that to me. Like, you're traumatized. We're all traumatized because dad wasn't around.
They would say that about you?
About me, about themselves. They're
okay.
like, we all have trauma. And I'm like, that's not traumatic to me.
It's the
I don't. It's
the assumption.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And I have a lot of respect for my dad, and so, you know, he was off living his life. If he didn't have the income that he had, there would be no me because my parents wouldn't have met. It's just like everything's all tied in.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, what was the original question?
No, I think you're doing a great job explaining. I think if anything, let's talk about how your relationship was then. So describe your relationship with your dad growing up in one word. Feel free to elaborate. And how would you describe your relationship with him today in one word?
Today, I would say fair.
Okay.
And understanding. In the past, I would say, I'm not sure if I could be one word.
Distant?
I guess that could be the word. It's less distant. It's more, sometimes I worry, like I have a little shame that it's like, should I have missed my dad more? Should I
Okay.
like have these things that have affected me?
Yeah.
And I'm the only one of my siblings who was like right in the middle of everything. So my brother's a bit older than me, so he had a feeling of stuff. My younger siblings didn't get the same vibe of like my dad's career or
Okay.
what the relationship was like. I've moved like to 13 different schools. I've moved
13 different schools.
Yeah, because every time I went to 2 schools in Utah, and then we moved to LA, and I went to 2 elementary schools.
Okay.
3 elementary schools, because I was swapped out because our siblings, every time someone moved up a grade, we were either rotating in or out. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and so we sort of just, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. So when you look back and you're like, mom and dad split and we had to move, and did you feel like there was no stability? Did you feel like that experience helped shape who you are today?
Yeah.
To a certain extent?
It's funny. I think that the fact that he was gone so much was the reason that once they actually split, nothing had changed.
How does a daughter process distance from her father and still learn how to love, nurture, and rebuild? Because we know that your career has taken you into nannying.
Yeah.
And I know your experience growing up with nannying, nurturing. You're the second oldest, right?
Eldest daughter.
Eldest daughter, caring for your siblings. Yeah. So how do you process, or how have you processed the distance from your dad? And how have you applied that to how you show up today for the kids that you nanny, how you show up for your relationships with people?
Yeah. So the way I processed it was just by living my life.
Okay.
I really didn't see anything wrong with it.
Okay.
And if anything, it was I was like, yeah, some dads are just not around. But at the end of the day, some dads are deadbeats and they're not around, and they don't have the career that my dad had. They don't have really anything to offer. And so I always knew, even if he wasn't here, my God, are we lucky to live in Calabasas and not have to worry about anything most days, you know? How that's played into the rest of my life is that because my dad was gone all the time, I try to be very present with most people and things in my life.
Good.
However, it wasn't until I was 22 that I realized, oh my God, every single guy I've ever dated was a long distance relationship. And I asked myself, why?
Interesting.
And I'm so used to this masculine love and that, maybe that's what was missing, right? And so as I'm progressing through my relationships, I realize the guy I'm dating comes and he's here for a week and then leaves for 3 weeks, and I'm totally fine with it. And I'm my dad did the same thing.
Okay.
I have no problem with it,
Okay.
And so with relationships, that's how it sort of played out. I spent a lot of my teen years thinking, how can I avoid anything that would lead me to my dad, to marrying a version of him.
Oh, okay. So what version of your dad are you trying to avoid? The in and out? Is it a personality trait that you're
it was
like,
a couple
I can't?
things.
Okay.
It was mostly, yeah, not so much personality things, just,
because I know my daddy is loud. So I'm like, I need someone who is not.
yeah.
Love you, Dad, but he's loud. So
I got distracted again.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. You said
you're the
that.
buzzing.
No, you said that your boyfriend comes in and he leaves, and you're like, this is normal for me.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you, have you gone into therapy?
I have.
Okay.
But not typical therapy.
Okay,
It's not like
yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
once a week or anything. I
Yeah.
see a psychiatrist on, just telehealth once a month.
Oh,
But
very good. Okay. Do
I
you
never-
encourage people to, and not just because anything's wrong, but just in general, I am the queen of advocating for people to talk to anyone,
Yeah.
whether it's for your personal growth, healing a relationship, trying to figure out your career path. I am someone who is an avid believer that everyone needs to talk to someone. So
Yeah.
even as you look back on your life and some things that you may have normalized, I'm just curious to know if you've talked to a professional who's able to just help guide you through some of those moments.
Yeah, I have. And
Okay.
I think one of the things that they do really well is just giving you a different perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need to
Yeah.
just, and it's not always like a perspective that's like, oh, it's something relevant to like here and right now. Sometimes you're thinking about it and you're like, oh my God, that's why I date the guys that I date,
Yes.
because my dad would leave and come back.
Yeah.
And it starts to sort of make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
But yeah, I've always found it to be pretty valuable. I definitely think that even if it's like temporary, or just like go and maybe get a second opinion sometimes about anything. Like you never know what could come of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's always so interesting to learn of that connection, though. You know what I mean? It's just like so long ago when you barely remember that it just finds its way into your current life. It's bizarre, and it's people try not to connect the two and say that, oh, it doesn't make a difference of, because, we're adults now and we can make our own decisions, but subconsciously somewhere in our bodies, it affects our everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Our child, these, young girls with, dreams and lip gloss and all this different stuff. And you just would never dream that, 20 plus years later, it's, navigating how you see the world. I mean, it's obvious that it happens, but it's just so interesting to me that how much it does.
Right. And I'll say that in therapy, I've noticed that it was difficult sometimes to talk about it, not because of anything else really, other than I don't think they're going to get it. Like if I explain certain things, they're like, well, it sounds like your mom took great care of you. And it sounds like,
oh, okay.
Everything was okay. And I'm like, I don't know how to break it down any further. I've had difficulties like explaining it to my friends because sometimes there's a judgment. And they're like, I wouldn't be mad if I lived in that house or
I see.
have this car or just anything. The family.
Dismissing your feelings in a sense. Okay.
And so, yeah.
Go ahead.
That's
Dee.
the reason for the show, though.
Yeah.
Because the other kids that get on here, it's the same thing. They can't really haven't lived through it. It doesn't make sense to fathom why you would have a problem.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, the next person can be like, I totally get it. Like,
and I think the difference. Sorry, Chi. I was gonna say, I think the difference too is because our dads are known. If we sit down and we say, oh, well, this is what my dad did to me and this is how he made me feel growing up, for me at least, I would feel like, oh shit, well, other people know who my dad is. So I don't want people to judge him either because of how I feel.
Yeah.
And so naturally you suppress a lot of emotions and you don't know how to speak up and be authentic and organic because you also know that other people know who your father is. Yeah. So I understand that completely. But this is why, to Tamara's point, we've created this safe space for people to feel like there's no judgment. No one's judging anyone's parent. It's all love here, no matter what. And we know that you love your father and we know that your father loves you. So at the end of the day, we
and
know
you're
it's all
definitely not
love.
alone. Yeah, you're definitely
absolutely.
At all. Yeah. There's a whole community.
Absolutely.
On this.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky, actually. I ended up going to high school with, for some reason, we all landed in Calabasas, like Mitch Richmond and his family.
Cajun?
Yeah, Cajun, Brittany and Brandon. Yeah, we've known them for so long. Like, we've known each other since we were 4. And by fate or something else, we all were in the same area. And so those people understand, and they kind of have a similar nature. They're kind of a little reserved to a degree, and I think that's something that maybe most people, it's almost like a little secret. And like, you don't know you don't know who's going to take it and be like, oh, your dad did what?
Yes.
How much money do you have?
Yes.
What team? Like, it can go on and on. So,
yes. No, we understand.
Good point.
You know, I understand.
mm-hmm.
So we see
Good
you.
point.
We resonate with you.
Yeah.
And again, big hugs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should dive into who you are and what you like to do and where you're going. So Tamara,
Absolutely.
let's do it.
So we know that it sounds like with you, you sounded to be like really mature as a kid.
Yes.
Just
Just wise beyond her years.
you do. You seemed very, just mature. I can see this little 4-year-old just like, dad has to go. That's just what he has to do.
Yeah.
And but what were you like when you were younger?
I was full of energy. I would wear red cowboy boots and
I love it.
nothing else.
Not
I was
red
like
cowboy
3 years old, only boots on, like walking around. So I was a very free child. I loved like brown sugar oatmeal and cookies. And I would be like, I need more brown sugar oatmeal. Like I was a sugar baby. It was like, not that kind of sugar baby, but like.
You said not that look. Not
We know what you
wink,
meant.
wink. Not that type of sugar baby.
Yeah. I was very happy. I remember having all sorts of fun clothes and dresses. And because I did pageants, I kept all the pageant clothes. And so my closet looked like a dream. And I just assumed I was like, life is beautiful for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I can't, this, must be normal. But also very observant. And I would just listen in on things. My mom would, I just was picking up stuff, and my parents always thought I was like maybe a little shy, but it was like, no, I'm like reading you right now.
Are you over analytical?
In what way?
Just like when you're observing, are you constantly analyzing things as you observe, or are you just looking and just, I guess, moving
it's
forward?
kind of like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
it's going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your pageant. You said you did pageants a lot and you were doing a lot of child modeling. How did you and when did you start in your pageant career? 'Cause that's a pretty big deal. Like the pageant world, a whole job in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. What I remember is I was probably 2.5, and my mom had put me into pageants, and I think it was something to keep us busy. And if you were asking my mom, she would say, you were just such a beautiful baby. Like, and she said, people would stop her, out and about, and they'd be like, can I hold your baby? Like, she's so whatever. So
She said whatever.
she put me in pageants, and I was winning them all. Like, I've got this great photo, and I like swept this photo of me with like trophies all behind me. And so for whatever reason, that was like my thing. I did really well at it. And I did pageants up until I was probably 6, because I was doing them in Utah. Then we moved here. My dad got traded to the Clippers. And that was it.
You had no wants to do like the Miss Americas or USA.
Oh, right. No. So I didn't want to do anything after that. I finished pageants, and then that's when I got signed to Ford Models in LA.
Oh, wow.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I forgot about that part.
Oh, I just forgot I was signed.
All right.
But yeah,
So tell
I
us
got
about
signed. Yeah, I was signed when I was 5.5, 6, and I would get picked up from school early, and I was making $100 an hour, $200 an hour in 2005, like as a kid.
Wow.
So, it was a lot of fun doing that. By the time I was 14, I started getting angsty, and I was like, I don't want to model. You know, I was over it. And that's when I got really into sports and soccer and volleyball. So
My volleyball sister.
Yes.
Hey. And she long, Tamara. You're not here, so you can't see the height.
I see her
My
legs.
sis is 6'2"
Yeah.
with no
Oh,
heels.
I can see her legs
Just
draped to
long.
Yeah.
cleans.
Just long and stunning.
So basically, you were an entrepreneur at the age of 2. Between the age of 2 and 6, you had your own beauty business via pageantry and then being signed at Ford Models. So when you look back, again, it seems like you're just a very mature child. It seems funny to say because you were 6, but
Yeah.
being to, move through pageantry because it takes a lot of discipline. And, just it takes a lot to be a part of pageants. And then also being signed to a huge modeling company. That's pretty good. That's pretty outstanding, right?
Yeah. My mom said I was just very natural at it, and I would walk on
Mm-hmm.
the stage and just like smile and do my thing and walk off.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom would say, if you wink at the crowd, I'll get you ice cream or whatever. So I'd do the little walk around the stage, then like,
Mm-hmm.
right, or like a little.
Oh.
Okay, that's actually my adult wink. But when I was a kid, I would go like that, Yeah.
She says,
But
So cute.
yeah, I mean that was a ton of fun. And like you said, an entrepreneur, it's like since 2, I truly have been working my entire life. And so
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been a lot. And although it was so much fun and I got super lucky, being signed and stuff, I always knew, I don't know, to a degree, like I carried more resentment a little bit for my mom, more than I would have. Like the resentment was not for my dad or his career or not
Okay.
being there. I think my mom had it really easy. And so, yeah, things were just a little whatever.
So where did the
completely forgot where I
resentment
was
come
going with
from?
that.
Yeah.
Well, you said
Oh,
you
there it is.
that meant
So the resentment comes from, she put me in beauty pageants and then we did Ford, and I was fine with it because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I realized, where did all that money go? Like,
Mhm.
she said,
Wow.
oh, it was in a college account. Like,
Okay.
and I felt years later, I'm like, oh my God, she was like pimping me out, but I was
okay.
like, maybe that's too extreme.
Okay.
But I felt like it was so random because I didn't really need to do those things. And she was like, I was being brought all over LA. And to this day, like my siblings, so maybe it's not resentment for my mom. Like I think honestly, sometimes my siblings resent me. I spent a lot of time with my mom. They were mostly with nannies. As much as my dad
okay.
was gone, I pretty
Gotcha.
much was gone too.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So your siblings, that was actually my next question, was your relationship with your, and you said you're second eldest, so it's kind of the middle. There's 4 of you, right? Yeah. So what is
Older
your
brother, and what's the bottom 2?
Yeah, so it's Nick is the eldest, then it's me, Chase, and Gabby.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your relationship like, from your point of view, as far as being the big sister?
Yeah. I knew that I was the eldest sister to my 2 younger siblings, obviously, but my older brother was so angry at the world and at our dad and defiant that I almost viewed him as like my younger brother.
Okay.
There were a lot of things that I took over, or he'd be like, I don't want to fold the laundry, like you fold it. And I'm 6 and I'm like, my brother's going to hate me if I don't do this. Like we won't be friends. And yeah, so that was that. Other than, the little things and spats we would get into, we are like kind of Bluetooth connected siblings.
Okay.
We can hear someone in a room say something and we have all like already thought the same thought.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we'd be like with friends and family, or we're in public and people are like, you guys love each other so much. And we'd be like, that's not true. But
Like
we
behind
also
closed doors, we throwing shoes at each other's heads.
well, we really did love each other, but I think they were seeing the dynamic that we're so playful and you know, a little rowdy and maybe even a little like ragging on each other. But you know, it's visible when you love your siblings, and even though you're fighting, maybe like in front of friends, I think anyone with siblings knows that it's like only I can say that about my sister, only I can say that about my brother.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So we
Yes.
were
So what-
also all very protective.
I love that because yeah, you can say what you want, or I can say something, but you can't say anything about her because we're gonna throw hands. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, but our
on board
dynamic
to the game.
was yeah, but it was a good one. I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I'm one of four. Like not a lot of people. I remember in school people would say, "You have 4 siblings?" I was like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but back in the day, I guess that was, you know, a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, you know, I think a lot of my siblings, or as a group, we are so used to having grown up with each other, our built-in friends.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
that all of us, we only have like 1 or 2 very close compadres that were like if you're brought in and you're in my life, you're my best friend, you're like basically a Polynice sibling.
I love
And I think our friends appreciated it too, because once we like crack a joke at them or whatever, when we were in our teen years, they knew like I'm in. So
I'm
Yeah.
in.
yeah.
We made it.
Well, that makes sense because you guys traveled so much, so you guys had to be. And my first friends were my siblings and my cousins, so I get it. It's those are the people
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'll say we had no family. So, like,
Yeah.
regarding cousins, we had all of our cousins were in Oakland or Haiti. And my mom was estranged from both of her parents.
Okay.
And my dad's parents were around and alive, but because of family drama, we didn't see them. Our mom didn't want us to see them or spend time with them. So,
Wow.
And the lifestyle doesn't help either. Just being part of
Yeah.
the sports industry, it takes you away from family and friends naturally because you're bouncing
yeah.
so often. So
Yeah.
that contributed to that as well, I'm
Right.
sure.
Yeah. I bounced
But
around the most.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's a. Well, I was gonna say, even like with Mariah and I growing up, like Mariah lived in Texas, I lived in Indiana, and so back in those days, flying, that wasn't really affordable like that. So I only saw Mariah a few times when they were in, because we used to have to ride the bus. So even cousins, that distance of them being away, we didn't get to see each other all the time, and so your sister all the time. So whenever we went, when we had to leave, it was heartbreaking. They would cry, and then we would cry because our moms were crying. So it was hard even from that perspective. So
Yeah.
the distance part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was less. I mean, it wasn't even about distance or family. Like our mom was, she was a single parent raising 4 kids, and so we were home a lot. She didn't want to deal with having one son somewhere and like the daughters are off. Like who's going to be at so and so's house, and it was too much for her to manage all of the logistics of 4 children.
Yeah.
So the no's came more often than the yeses for most things.
So looking back, what do you think younger Alexis needed the most?
Different parents. I'm kidding.
We're like, Alexis.
We're like, now
We're
Alexis.
now Alexis.
I'm teasing. What I have needed. No, I say that in a joking way because I remember being so connected to my nannies and just having such a blast with them, and they would leave and I'm like, my person's leaving.
So who's your favorite nanny? Tell us a nanny story
Yeah.
or your favorite memory with a nanny.
We had 3 nannies actually growing up. These were our nannies in Utah, and it was Aniko. She was from Hungary, or I guess back then they would have been au pairs. So it wasn't
Okay.
really nannying because they were literally flying over. So different in the 2000s. But we had Aniko from Hungary. We had Cora from the Philippines. And then we had Yumi from Japan. And she like taught us how to count in Japanese. And like for whatever reason, when I first started talking, my like, you know, side language jibber jabber, like I was understanding and speaking like Hungarian,
Wow.
like toddler Hungarian, like with my nanny because we spent a
That's
lot
hilarious.
of time together.
Yeah.
But I just remember like there were other women in the house. We had so much fun, and also at the time it was only me and my older brother.
Okay.
But we actually still had those nannies up until we were like 16, and weirdly enough, like our nanny ended up being like Tyson Chandler's nanny, and we were like in the same neighborhood, and we're like, yeah. But it, you know, it's just weird that like, or not weird, but just so crazy that like I had this person as a nanny. They go off and they were still all in Calabasas, like from Utah to Calabasas, right? And my nanny from when I was maybe a teenager, they were called Barbie and Fabi from Brazil. And
Wait, their names were Barbie and
so Barbara, Barbie,
okay,
Barbie, and then Fabi.
and Fabi. Okay.
Barbara, and Fabiola.
And Fabiola.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cute.
Yeah. So we had Barbie and Fabi, and they were great. And then like Barbie ended up going and working for a family I worked for.
Wow.
Like we were working as nannies in the same community, and you know, it's just they had such a big impact on my life in a way that I didn't think that I would get from my parents. I kind of, even at a young age, was like, my dad's always gone. My mom's there, but she's like, she wasn't really like a deep mom.
Okay.
She was a young mom,
Okay.
super young, but there were things about her that I remember like spending time with her and walking out of a room. And the only way that I can think of that through like adult eyes now is being like disinterested, bored. Yeah, my mom isn't super inquisitive.
Okay.
And so a lot of my childhood was spent just like kind of daydreaming and, you know,
About what?
honestly, kind of just like fantasy stuff, like, but always the future.
Okay.
Always. I remember being a kid and like 6 years old and thinking like, oh, I'm just like counting down the minutes until I find my husband, and I'm 6. So it's like I'm
Wow.
thinking way too far ahead, but it wasn't like I needed a husband. I needed more
Connection, maybe?
connection and
That's a good way.
stimulation, anything
Yeah.
than what I was getting. And
Okay.
maybe I didn't recognize that as a child, but yeah, I just remember being very bored and thinking like there's gotta be, I mean, I assumed that you could just get a new family sometimes. And so I'd be with my parents and I'm like, who are these people? Like,
Okay.
I just don't,
Wow.
No.
you know, a very strange connection. So,
Okay.
and that was
what-
just me as a child. Like that's not how I feel now. It was like, I just was very, just a different child.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
So
T.
back when about the nannies is like, what is one thing that their relationship with you has taught you now?
That you can be like inundated with love, you know, if you have the right people around you. And so I will say that we're super lucky that we had these great nannies.
Wow.
And they took great care of us. But I love the love that they gave me. And I remember thinking like, well, if I can't be a mom and I don't have my nannies anymore, like what's the second best thing?
Yeah.
And so I became a nanny.
Wow.
And I just remember I literally was like, I loved my nanny so much. I can only imagine what life would be like if another child like
yeah.
loved me. And over the years, it's been like very Mary Poppins for me. Like I
Okay.
go into a family and I leave and there's like heartbreak,
Yeah.
but that's sort of the name of the game. It's like,
Wow.
that's like kind of what we went through. And I was devastated when some of our nannies left, but you know, there was obviously a massive takeaway from them because I built an entire career off of
Right.
their love.
Well, before because I want
Wow.
to pause and play a game before we dive into your career as
Okay.
a nanny. But before we do that, if you want to look into the camera and just say one thing to your nannies, because it seems like they've had such a huge impact on
Yeah.
you. If you want to say anything to your nannies, I'm assuming that they will watch this once it
great.
airs. What do you want to say to them?
I would say, hi, Aniko. Thank you so much for everything. I love you so much. I remember thinking that I was Hungarian with blonde hair and blue eyes because I was looking at you all day, every day, and I thought you were so beautiful. So thank you for everything that you brought to my life. The majority of my early days are so joyful because of the fact that I was able to have a really wonderful, kind, genuine woman that was around me. And in a lot of ways, you were there for me maternally. And you were very young, too. You were a very young nanny. And so to be 22 and to have loved us the way that you did is really special. And obviously, we could never forget you. We still talk about you all the time. And you are more than family to us. And hi, Cora, I love you and I miss you so much. If it wasn't for you in our home and the softness and gentle, calm nature that you brought in, we would be a very different family. And I think that you were this person who was able to stabilize our house in so many ways. And you were like a third party when arguments were going crazy and I'm looking at my parents like, why is this happening? You came into the room, you pulled us out, and you loved us. And so for that, I'm so grateful, especially grateful that I got to spend such a majority of my life in a way that my younger siblings didn't. So I love you.
Oh, yay. So beautiful.
Shout out to-
So beautiful. Shout out to
That's
them.
it's wonderful.
Yeah. So now let's transition back into what makes you so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Caregiving to other kids.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about caring for children that speaks to you now?
To this day, it's the love of children. That's where it starts. Like when I meet a family, it's super personal. I always say that nannying is like a lot like dating because you have to sort of connect with that family because you're going to be in their daily life for so long. But I knew that what I did for my siblings, like doing laundry and cooking, I didn't realize until I started nannying, like, oh, you can get paid for this, right? So I was like, I'm going to take everything that I already know how to do, plus the fact that I love babies, put it together and do that. And to this day, it's just a joy being with so many different families, so many kids throughout time. It's rather not throughout time, but as the years go by, you know, you leave a family and you leave when they're 11 and suddenly they're 18 and in college. And like, I have only gone from 21 to 28. So I've had like my adult journey, but they went from children to adults. And so it's super different, but also so exciting.
Yeah.
You know, to this day, I follow my nanny on Instagram, my nanny Barbie, the Brazilian one. She just had a baby. And so I like knowing that I can stay connected to them, you know.
So how did you get started? Who was your first kid that you were nannying? Do you remember?
I started with this little girl named Summer, and
Oh.
her mom would drop her off at our house. We were living in Calabasas, and we had a sizable home, and it was in a safe neighborhood. And she was like a friend of my mom's, but at this time, it would have just been like my first job. And then a couple more kids came over, and it was like a little like summer camp, day camp thing. And I was like 14, right? Watching kids and making lunches for them. But
So cool.
that's how it started. And,
Okay.
I put flyers around the neighborhood with like the little tags with your number, and you like you tear the tag off.
Wait, so you created your own flyer to just post around?
Yeah,
So
and
cool.
I like still have
Okay.
it in my like Google Docs if I wanted to pull it up. It's like
Oh,
so funny. Yeah.
wow.
Little things like that. And
But that's a testament to your ambition, and
Yeah.
that's incredible.
I
wow.
was super into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once I stopped doing like, the little summer business and I was in school, I just started working for a bunch of different families,
Okay.
like everyone, we were all in the same gated community, things like that. And then I was playing sports throughout high school. By the time I was 17 and 18, that's when I wanted to make the transition to being a full-time career nanny, like
Oh.
really going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew I need 10 years of experience. Like by the time I'm 26, I'm already going to need the 10 years. I don't want to graduate college at
Oh,
22, 23, start being a nanny,
okay.
and I have 1 year, 2 years under my belt. So
Okay.
I started then, and I had a school schedule that allowed me to leave last period, and I would start nannying from like noon or 1 p.m. And go until like 8 o'clock and get paid cash. And, I could just go and do my own thing. I was out of the house, I was working and
Wow.
building this resume. And then when I was 17, my first real client, funny enough, were Julie and Paul Pierce.
What?
Total random, like someone
Wow.
that I was nannying for. We all went to, just a party. Julie would do these. She's so sweet and funny.
She's so sweet.
She's the best.
So Paul, I don't know if you just to add it in this conversation.
Yeah.
My dad coached Paul when we
I love
were
that.
all in LA
Yeah.
playing for the Clippers.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we met Julie and the kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the kids
wonderful.
are great
Yeah.
too. And yeah, they gave me a referral, and I remember like Julie would do these things. I'm like, whose birthday is it? Like, because there was a huge party going on in her backyard. She's like, it's Thursday. Like, it's just a Thursday.
I know that's right.
I love
Julie.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we
That's
went over
cool.
there, and they were so sweet, and I got the vibe of like
Okay.
NBA essence in the home, right? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know who her husband was. I hadn't seen him come from around the corner yet.
But you knew he played in the NBA.
I didn't know anything.
you
so
didn't?
so we
Okay.
had just gone to the party. I had only met Julie because Paul was wherever in the house, So,
Okay.
and we went straight to the backyard. So I wasn't like dawdling in their house looking
Yeah.
at photos. And then one of the moms is like, oh yeah, Julie's husband played basketball. He walks through the house, and I'm just like passing him, and I was like, hi, like, my name's Alexis Polynice, and like, my dad played basketball too, and like, hi, like, I'm just nannying here, and like, that's it. That's all I wanted to say, is that I'm not this stranger in your home, and like, I think you know my dad to some degree, but
Yeah.
yeah, and I left it at that, and then I started working for them a little more. I skipped prom so I could nanny for them because I was like, I want this so badly. I'll take any name on my resume. And it's a good one to have off bat. So, yeah.
What's one thing people misunderstand about nannying, and what are some of the challenges that you faced? If there's any, there may not be any.
Yeah, there have been all sorts of challenges. I mean, I've done a lot of very different things. Sometimes they're niche. I've taken a Pomeranian with alopecia to do like
Oh.
hair growth
I didn't-
Tamara, be
treatments, right? And like, you know, these sort of odd jobs in between. And like, you know, I worked for a family who had 5 kids and 30 pets.
5 kids and 30 pets.
Tori.
Oh
So
my
are you
gosh.
responsible for the livelihood of the pets too, or
I'm
is it just the
responsible
children?
for everyone at the estate and given
Underneath
day.
the home. Okay.
12-hour
So do you
days.
live? Do you live at? I was going to ask. Do you live at the home, or you get to go home at night when you
I don't
have?
think I would ever be a live-in nanny because it can become very convoluted. So I always do live out, but
Okay.
yeah, 12-hour days. So you basically live there.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay. So
wow.
now that you are in a position to give kids something that you didn't have, and you're able to have an inside look into how other families operate, is there anything that you've learned about other family dynamics now that you are, I guess, immersed in other people's families?
Yeah. I've seen really great shows of dads.
Okay.
I've also seen people who have $1 billion and they are nowhere to be found in their kids' lives. It's like you don't have to work ever again, right? That kind of person. Where are you? So I kind of would see these families and I'm like, oh, it's kind of simple to like be home every night, like at 6 p.m. or at least maybe not simple, but you make that choice. Like you make
Okay.
it for your family and, you know, different dynamics and stories entirely. So I can't hold, you know, other people that I've worked for to the standard of my parents. But I've seen how much parents have poured into their kids emotionally.
Okay.
They would treat their children like their own people instead of just an extension of themselves. And
Okay.
so, yeah, there's so much to see. Every single day is different. The seasons of life that will happen and change with each family. The person you meet on the first day is not the person you meet or that you know on your last day of work. Like you really.
And you're talking about the parent or the child? Or both? Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I learn a lot about the reality of relationships with the parents. Sometimes they are not on the same page. Married, happy, but like their morals and values are different. And I learn a lot about that too. Like you could have the G-Wagon in the driveway and it's like you're not super kind in the way that you speak to your wife, or like, you know, you're not, they're just operating in a different way. It seems backwards, but yeah, I mean, there is a woman who, you know, talking about challenges. I was a nanny for a 13-year-old girl and her mom had terminal cancer.
Okay.
She was sick for 13 years and she was fine on a Tuesday, in the hospital on a Wednesday,
Wow.
brought home for hospice on Thursday, and passed away Saturday at 2 a.m.
Wow.
So like I had just stood next to her and was like coloring her hair for her on a Tuesday, and she was just working and doing her thing, and suddenly like she can't speak and this person that we knew is like gone. And so when I got into this industry, I always thought, we're gonna go kick a soccer ball outside, I get to make grilled cheeses and we watch movies and it's so cute and fun. I love being a nanny. Then it's like, oh my God, this person is not coming back.
Yeah.
They're gone. I was her nanny, but I was also her assistant. So I spent like 6 hours a day with her.
Wow.
And yeah, I was the only person who was with her for like the majority of the day for 3 years. And so once she was gone, it was like nothing I've ever felt, you know? And so
Right.
Because it's in a sense like losing your child, you know, and I guess not exactly, but in a sense
I felt like I was losing like a mother.
okay.
And thinking about that, it's interesting because I think that I really valued Lindsay, and I value her and cared about her for a lot of different things. And I think one of them was that she was super ambitious.
Okay.
And so I viewed her as a very like matriarch, maternal. And I think about my own mom.
Oh, this was
You
the mother. I'm thinking you're talking about the child.
No, the child. No, her, so I
it was her mother.
It was her
Okay.
mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was, we were just very close. And Lindsay was very calm, cool, sort of nonchalant, maybe a little bit of an ice princess.
Okay.
Originally from LA, like Beverly Hills, Jewish LA girl, and super tapped in. And she just knew what she wanted. And so that inspired me. I was very drawn to her because of that. And I wanted to do well. I wanted to do right by her. For many reasons, not because she was sick or anything, but I was like, she's so cool. She's so sweet. Like, I knew that she was sick and that time was super valuable in their house. So I literally did anything that I could to stay around, stay present, because I knew that if I went to Miami for a weekend, who knew what would happen? You know, she could be gone in a weekend.
I see.
So,
okay.
And maybe that wasn't the case, but I was so paranoid and scared that I was like, if I'm not actively here, like doing my job to the best of my ability, she could maybe, you know, I really thought that if I didn't get her the meals on time, like I would be the cause of her to have this demise, you know? And so I was so panicked, so particular about things. Yeah, it's something that I would have never expected to even happen while I was working there. Because I knew she was sick. Her daughter didn't know. It was not disclosed to her daughter until 8 months before she had passed away. And so there was this confidentiality that I had to sit with, and mom would go to like doctor's appointments and tell her daughter that she was in meetings. And Violet, her daughter, was the light of her life. It meant the world to her, like anything for her. And everyone knew that. Like everyone knew that it doesn't matter the business that Lindsay owns, the home she's in, the only thing she cares about is Violet, her only child.
Do you have a relationship with Violet still?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you kept getting her when her mom did you stay
in many ways, my friends and family will say like, you were like a mom to her, because I spent so much time with her. And I'm like, it was nothing like Lindsay. I don't compare. I'm not adjacent kind of mom. I'm not I'm just me. I was just her nanny. I spent a lot of time with her, but the love that came from her mom is like not from this world. And she knew that she was running out of time. So,
so what has that taught you about life? That experience? Is it being more present? Is it?
Yeah, I'm definitely more present. I was, honestly, back then, I was pretty young still. And interesting enough, I actually, that Monday before she had passed away, I quit. I texted Dad and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
You quit working for
this
Lindsay.
family, yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know it was going to happen. And so, what was your original question?
Well, just her experience and you going through this transition with her from Monday she's here and Thursday she's not. What that taught you about how life works in general.
Yeah. So I knew that there was no way around it, like as it was happening in real time. And it was very scary because we went to the hospital and we were there, and things happen very fast, and it's like you think that when someone dies it's like in the movies, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really quite awful because it's, you start to lose the essence of who they are. And by the end of their life, you can look at someone and, I would say, "Hi, Lindsay."
Yeah.
And she looked at me. She had no clue who I was. And this is someone I spent every single day with for 3 years.
Yeah.
Didn't know who I was. So, I mean, it really made me not grow up super fast, but I realized, like, man, all the times I like complained back then, I would have done like anything to go back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it wasn't always that great at that job.
Yeah.
I would get yelled at for little, tiny things. Like sometimes the dad was really just kind of like loose with his words, just not super not mindful.
Diplomatic.
So is this
In a
what you
way,
want to
but-
do 5 years, 10 years from now? So where do you see yourself going with your position in nannying down the road?
Yeah, I definitely see myself going all the way. I mean, I'm happy that I started at 18 because
Okay.
then I knew I could do nannying until I was 28, which is where
Okay.
I'm at now. And I've got all this childcare experience and background. It's pretty specific, but also simple to make a transition in like domestic staffing.
Yeah.
You really learn a lot of, you just learn so much about the internal movements of someone's home, about who they are.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, I've learned so much that I'm like, I've outgrown nannying. I don't want to just be with kids anymore. So where I see myself in the future is doing estate management,
Okay.
doing personal assistant work.
Okay.
But because I always will have a immense love in my heart for like the babies and
Yeah.
nannying, my thing has always been, if it's not going to be me, it should be someone else that's top notch,
Yeah.
taking care of the baby. So I was starting like a little app company, for young
That's cool.
girls, basically
Very
my age,
Yes.
and the age of when I started to
break into the industry.
into it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
how I'm able to stay connected. And because I have so much like in my brain that it's like, I don't want to be like a recruiter or an agency. I just want to be the person that I wish I had when I was 14
Yeah.
and 15, like knowing how to speak, up for yourself, knowing like, oh, they're actually short $5. And not only are you not allowed to be short, but like I need a tip. Right. And
Okay.
it's like, there's sort of an etiquette. And I guess, the tipping system is more for babysitting, but when you're a nanny and you're in someone's home, oftentimes you'll start off as a nanny and
Yeah.
that job description grows and grows and grows until you are the gardener and chauffeuring and everything else. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I mean, a lot of the nannying, you have to sort of tread lightly. And when you're in that industry, I want girls to know you're not just a nanny or like
Yeah.
the help. You're one of the most valuable assets in the family. And
Oh my
like,
True.
yeah.
True.
I will say this. Before I became a mom, I've always respected the work of a nanny and a caregiver. But now that I am a mom, I have a deeper understanding to how important that role is. And it's not just about helping, it's about trust, it's about alignment, it's about having someone else's energy in your home and around your child.
Yeah.
And when you're able to find somebody who perfectly aligns with not just the child, but the parent as well, oh my gosh, that's everything. So
Yeah.
bravo to you.
you.
Again, it's a tough position to be in, and you have to put on so many different hats.
Yeah.
But just know that, girl, now that I am a mom, I fully respect what you
Yeah.
do.
And oftentimes when I'm working, I think, oh my God, I'm making, 6+ figures, or
Yeah.
women in this industry are, moms should be getting a little check for 10K from the husband. I mean, I guess maybe not a month, but
Yes.
like moms are not getting compensated. Like, a lot of what I do is the job of a mom, but I get to leave at the end of the night. And so there's a lot that I notice that from a nanny perspective that at times moms are responsible for. And it is a thankless job sometimes as a nanny, depending on the family that you're with. It can just be, you do your work, you do it well, and you go home.
Wow.
And I've worked with people like that, and I've worked with neurotic people, and fun, exciting. So you just never know what you're going to get.
Very good.
If someone were to want to get into the nannying industry, what are some tips or a few things that you would suggest them do before?
So my advice to anyone who wants to start in the nannying industry would be to call up your mom's friends who have kids. Sometimes you can call and say, like, I'll watch your dog for the weekend. It's just growing like that caretaking
Your
background.
network.
Yeah. Show up, do a great job. And I would say go for it. It's a really, this industry it's nothing like it's ever been in history.
Okay.
And my dad used to say, pick a job that if the world ended, you could still work.
Love that advice.
And when COVID happened and it was end of the world adjacent, I worked the entire time.
Wow.
It's like the most money I'd ever made. And so, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like a really interesting, special job. You never know what's going to happen. I chose something that is, going to keep me locked in, and people are going to have kids forever.
Yes.
Right. And since the beginning of time, kings and queens and royalty all had help. They had ladies in waiting and everything else. So it's not uncommon to have help in a home, but especially for young girls now, you don't have to really, I won't say you don't have to go to college, because I do encourage people go and learn and get different perspectives. But I will say that you can make a wonderful living. And it's pretty simple. Like, you can make as much as doctors sometimes, and you're 22 years old.
Wow.
So any girl who wants to like be a nanny, they kind of already know the get down, and then, just jump right into it. If you have like any inkling that, not any inkling, I don't know how to describe that.
No, you described it beautifully.
Okay.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you could say anything to your dad and or mom, what would you say to them?
Hi, Ima. Hi, Abba. You guys are the best. I know I have a big mouth, and I know that I have ripped you guys down a million times before, and whether it was because I was young or immature, the voice of 16-year-old me only knew so much. And at 28 years old, I have a much better understanding of the sacrifices that it took for the dad to even get to this country. And you guys did sacrifice a lot. You were super young, and you guys did a great job. And I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for you guys. Dad, you've taught me so much about the importance of education and giving everything your all. And Mom, I looked up to you for everything. You were business savvy, and even when you could have been a housewife, you always chose to work, whether it was retail business consulting. You kind of just figured it out. So I wouldn't be doing the work that I do if it wasn't for you. So I love you guys.
Yeah.
Aw, Great.
We did it.
Beautiful.
How do you feel now that you got this episode underneath your belt? You did it. You sat on the couch.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels really
Therapeutic?
good. Yeah, for sure.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Good. No, that was a great episode.
It was
That was great. Yeah, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Thank you
Oh
for
my gosh, I'm excited.
just sharing your story with us. And
Yeah.
again, I believe your story in particular is going to resonate with others.
Mm.
I already know it. So
I'm so glad.
thank you.
Yeah.
Great
I
job,
hope
T.
it does. Thank
Great
you,
job.
T.
Tuning in with us, TT, virtually.
Well, thank
next
you.
time,
I-
next time y'all see her, she's going to be a whole wife. She's going to be a wifey out here.
Right.
Right.
I'm going to be a wife in the chair.
In the chair.
Yeah.
She's going to be back next
Wow.
time, y'all.
I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm going to close us out. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of Born to the Game. I'm your host, Mariah.
And I'm Tamara.
And we'll see you next time on Born to the Game. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, share it with your mama and them.
Tell your mama and them.
Tell your mama and them. Bye.
Bye.